Hi Filipinas and great day world. How are you, A-listers? So for today's video, if you're an aspiring law student or first year law student this school year 2025-2026, this vlog is for you. I'll be sharing hardcore truths and tips before you start your law school journey. So let's go! Hardcore truth number one. Law school comes at a high cost. Aside from the financial means, it also demands a substantial amount of your time and energy. I've inquired sa mga top performing law schools in Metro Manila regarding their tuition fee, and so here you go guys. For Ateneo Law, so if in cash, the total amount is 144,932.16 for first semester. So, 18 units na yan. Pero kung installment naman kayo, for your 2 installments, the total amount is 146,535.30. And then, pag 4 installments naman, it's 147,336.65. Second, UP. We have 2 programs for their Juris Doctor. The first is the 4-year program. So, 13 to 15 units siya. And then, for the 5-year program, this is specifically made for the working class. It's an evening class from Monday to Saturday from 6 p.m. to 9 p.m. So, 15 to 17 units naman. So, they don't have the exact amount for the whole semester. So, ang binigay lang nila sa akin yung amount per unit. So, it's 1,500 per unit. And then, third, San Beda. So, kakatapos lang kasi ng SEM sa San Beda, both in Manila and Alabang. The application is ongoing. Yung enrollment will be around last week of July. So, ang mapaprovide ko lang is yung last school year. So, kung underload kayo, mga around, kunwari, 14 units, tas sa San Beda, Manila, it's around 66,000. And then kung sa San Beda, Alabang naman, like mga 17 units, it's around 63,000. Pero kasi pag first year kayo guys, 21 units kasi. So, it's around 70,000 yung tuition fee to 80. Siguro na yun. Mga ganun nag-range. 70 to 80 siguro. Mga ganun. Pero I'm not sure na this coming school year 2025-2026 kung how much na yung tuition fee. Kasi sa July pa namin malalaman. So, yun yung sa financial aspect ng tuition fee. So, for the books, when I was in first year, I've spent more than 15,000 pesos for books alone. First year, first sem pa lang yun. Kasi yung Amraw bundle ko pa lang, criminal law book siya. And then, 3 books yung Amraw. So, may book 1, book 2, part 1, and book 2, part 2. 1,500 each na siya. So, dahil 3 books, 4,500 na yun. And then, I also have Reyes here. I'll show you. Yung Reyes ko. Book 1 and book 2. Yan. Yan. I have book 1 and book 2. We'll discuss later yun sa books. Pero, yun, medyo pricey talaga sa books pa lang. For other expenses, tuition fee, books, other expenses, well, of course, may mga school events, tapos may mga ticket na involved, you will pay 500 to 1,000 pesos. And then, minsan may mga class contribution din, kasi minsan ipapaprint yung case digest na pinagawa sa inyo ng prof. So, or kaya, nagbibigay ng token of appreciation, may contribution din. Yun yung financial aspect. When it comes to your time, you will experience na mag-Christmas, New Year, or other holidays na nakakulong sa kwarto, nag-handwritten case digest, or nagre-review for your examination. You will definitely get used to it. Yung mga holidays nyo, talagang ide-dedicate nyo na kadalasan para mag-aral. So, next, hardcore truth number 2. So, you're going to read tons of cases and books. General rule, mag-full text kayo ng cases. Pero may mga cases na isang case pa lang 200 pages na. Tapos marami kayong subjects. Tapos case-based yung professor. Ang advantage kasi, pag nag-full text kayo, may mga professors kasi na ultimo yung plate number, color ng sasakyan, amount na inutang, pangalan ng kapitbahay. Talagang tinatanong. Kasi minsan hinuhuli nila kung nag-full text ba or nag-case stages. Ayun. Pero syempre, pag petsa de peligro na, wala na talaga kayong choice. Syempre, mag-case digest na kayo. Minsan, nag-case digest kayo as a class. Pero let's be honest, lahat kayo unfamiliar pa sa mga nangyayari sa law school. Lahat parang, ano ba to, diba? Reality check. Are you going to risk your reset grade by using your classmates' case digest na siya mismo nangangapa pa or unfamiliar pa sa kanyang case digest? May mga reliable na mga sources din online na pwede nyong pagkuhanan ng mga case digest. In my case, nakasubscribe ako sa Scrib and Studocos. Pero guys, meron din kayong mga classmate na magagaling mag-case digest. Kasi siguro naglegma na sila or law-related yung course nila. Pero kung doubtful kayo sa gawa ng classmate nyo, di mag-online na kayo and kumuha na kayo ng case digest sa mas reliable na source. So, in my case, Scrib and Studoku. For Scrib subscription, it's 150 pesos per month. Tapos ang advantage nun, guys, magkakaroon na kayo ng access sa Everand app. So, what's an Everand app? It's a digital book application na nandun yung mga best-selling books. Pakita ko sa inyo. Pero may idea din kayo. Different genres. Meron din mga audiobooks. Even podcast meron din. So, as you can see, guys, ayan. Ayan. Meron siyang e-books. Meron siyang podcast, tsaka audiobooks. So, ayan. So, free access na siya pag nakasubscribe kayo sa Scrib. So, aside from case digest, ano pa yung pwede nyo ma-access sa Scrib? Yung mga law-related books and reviewers. Golden Notes, Conbeda Red Books, M8, ayun. Quamto, ayun. Nandun siya. So, for Sudoku, 69 pesos per month pag annual. And then pag quarterly, it's 99 pesos per month. So, ayun siya. Para lang, kasi ang daming case digest, diba, sa Scrib. Pero para lang meron kayong idea, guys, kung ano yung magagandang case digest. I will cite 3 examples lang. Para lang meron kayong idea. Tatlong ano lang. Kasi may magagandang case digest. Yung may mga recit ready na nandun na talaga yung mga doctrines. So, unahin muna natin. And interesting naman yung mga cases na i-share ko. Para naman realize yung, may magagandang or interesting cases pala. May enjoy nyo rin pala yung sa law school. So, eto. First is yung kay Chimin Choi versus Court of Appeals and Gina Lau Choi. And nakakatawa to. Nakakatawa tong case na to. Ako kung i-discuss pa ba to sa inyo, pero sa amin diniscuss to. Just to give you a short background ng case na to. Itong case na to, it's an annulment case na final ni Gina Lau Choi against Ming Choi. Allegedly, homosexual daw kasi yung asawa niya and ayaw makipag-sexual intercourse. Nangyari pa dito, nung in-examine kasi yung guy, na-discover na yung length ng sexual organ nung guy is 1 inch and 1 centimeter.
But even though his penis is not in its full length, he is still capable of further erection, and with his soft erection, he is capable of having sexual intercourse with a woman.
Ang summary niya, ito yung maganda kasi na case digest. May summary na siya. Pero basically, pag case digest, diba, facts, issues, ruling, doctrine. Pero maganda din kung meron ng recit ready na summary na yun na yung pwede mong sabihin pag recitation yun. So, let's just read. Para naman, may maalala kayong mga cases for tonight.
Gina Lau Choi sought to annul her marriage to Chi Ming Choi on the ground of psychological incapacity. She testified that since their wedding until the time of their separation, they had never had sexual intercourse. Chi Ming Choi opposed the action, presenting a medical report stating that he was not impotent and was capable of having an erection. He admitted that he did not have sexual relations with his wife after almost 10 months of cohabitation, and it appears that he is not suffering from any physical disability. The trial court and the Court of Appeals held that the marriage was void. The Supreme Court affirmed this and held that the annulment was valid. The senseless and protracted refusal of Chi Ming Choi to fulfill his marital obligation to his wife is equivalent to psychological incapacity. For the doctrine, one of the essential marital obligations under the family code is to procreate children, based on the universal principle that procreation of children through sexual cooperation is the basic end of marriage. Constant non-fulfillment of this obligation will finally destroy the integrity or wholeness of the marriage. Sexual intimacy is a gift and a participation in the mystery of creation. It is a function which enlivens the hope of procreation and ensures the continuation of family relations.
Yan yung first case and ganito yung magandang case digest. Yung may summary and doctrine. Never mind the bullet form. Yun lang sa summary and doctrine tayo. Next na case naman na i-share ko sa inyo ay yung Pax versus CA. Ito, maganda din to guys. So, ito naman, wala siyang recit ready pero nandito naman yung doctrine niya. So, breach of promise to marry. In the case of Bax versus Court of Appeals, breach of promise to marry is not an actionable wrong per se.
Where the promised was to induce another to have sexual congress and there is no proof that he had, in reality, no intention of marrying her and that the promise was a subtle scheme or deceptive device to obtain her consent, the award of damages under Article 21 is in order. For the facts of the case, private respondent Marilu Gonzalez filed an action for damages against Kashem Bax for the alleged violation of their agreement to get married. Gonzalez is 22 years old, single, Filipina, a pretty lass of good moral character and has a reputation duly respected in her community, while Bax, on the other hand, is an Iranian citizen and is an exchange student taking a medical course in the Gupan city. Gonzalez alleged that before August 20, 1987, Bax courted her and proposed to marry her. She accepted his love on the condition that they would get married after the end of the school semester. In fact, Bax visited Gonzalez's parents in Pangasinan to secure their approval to the marriage. In August 1987, Bax forced her to live with him in an apartment. According to Gonzalez, she was a virgin before she began living with him. A week before the filing of the complaint, Bax's attitude towards her started to change. He maltreated and threatened to kill her. During confrontation in the barangay, Bax repudiated their marriage agreement and asked her not to live with him anymore, saying further that he is already married to someone else. Gonzalez then filed the case for damages. Bax contends that said Article 21 is not applicable because he had not committed any moral wrong or injury or violated any good custom or public policy. He has not professed love or proposed marriage to the private respondent and he has never maltreated her. Blah, 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 blah. Excuses, as always. Finally, he posits that even if he had professed his love to the private respondent and had also promised to marry her, such acts would not be actionable in view of the special circumstances of the case. So the issue, whether or not a breach of promise to marry is an actionable wrong, thus making Bax liable for damages. Doon na tayo sa pinakadulo ng ruling, where a man's promise to marry is the proximate cause for the woman to give herself unto him in sexual congress, and there is proof that he had in reality no intention of marrying her, and that the promise was only a subtle scheme or deceptive device to obtain her consent to the sexual act, the award of damages pursuant to Article 21 is in order. The court took notice that Gonzalez is an innocent Barriolas and a typical Filipina who under customs would not have gave in to sexual congress with Baksh, much more live with him were it not for his promise to marry.
So, maganda dito sa case na to ay wag kang mangangako ng kasal para lang makascore sa babae. Or else, the woman can file a civil case against you. So, Wasmer versus C. So, dito, sa doctrine base. The present case is not a mere breach of promise to marry. So, to formally set a wedding, to go through all the preparations and publicity thereof, only to walk out of it when the matrimony is about to be solemnized is palpably unjustifiably contrary to good customs for which defendant must be held answerable in damages in accordance with Article 21 of the new Civil Code. A few days before ng wedding, umalis yung lalaki. Kasi ayaw nung magulang, nung lalaki. Lalo na yung mom. Pero sabi niya matutuloy. Hindi natuloy yung wedding afterwards. So, pwede rin kayo mag-file ng case, guys. Pag nangyari sa inyo to. Kunwari, kakasal na kayo. As in, tapos na yung preparation, nakapag-send na ng invitation, nakapagbayad na sa venue, sa reception, tas no-show yung groom. Pwede niyong kasuhan. For Article 21 of said code provides that any person who willfully causes loss or injury to another in a manner that is contrary to morals, good customs, or public policy shall compensate the latter for the damage. The present case is not a mere breach of promise to marry. So, ayun nga, to formally set a wedding and to go through all the preparation and publicity only to walk out of it when the matrimony is about to be solemnized is definitely contrary to good custom. Ito yung mga ganitong klaseng doctrines, yung maganda. Tapos na tayo sa books. So, the third would be tutorial. So, when I was in first year then, nagpa-tutor ako. So, I engaged the services of lawyer tutor. My tutor back then was a CPA lawyer from San Beda. She's working for a well-known and established auditing firm na nag-start sa letter S and 3 letters. Yung auditing firm na yun. So, alam niyo na kung ano yun. So, by the time na mag-second year na ako, she got promoted as a director. By the time na mag-second year ako, I'm already on my own. Hindi na ako nagpa-tutor. But I was really grateful sa lahat ng mga na-share niya sa akin. First, nalala ko yung sabi niya sa akin noon na pag talagang walang-wala na, bumalik ka sa Kudal. Tapos, shinare niya noon na meron daw bar taker na nag-Kudal base siya. Siguro overwhelmed na sa mga inaaral. So, nag-focus na siya sa Kudal. And nakapasa naman siya. So, ayun. Yun yung isa sa mga reminders niya sa akin. Kailangan mo na talagang aralin yung specific na topic for that day. Bumalik ka sa Kudal. Kasi, yun naman talaga yung basis, diba? Yun law. So, ayun. And then, minsan, mag-request ako na mag-reset kami. Kasi one-on-one naman yung tutorial para ma-practice din ako. And then, there are times na nag-written exams din kami. Like, mag-send siya ng questions sa Viber, tas after nun, tatimeran niya ako, sasagot na ako, and then, pag na-send ko sa kanya, re-review niya yun, tapos bibigyan niya sa akin yung feedback niya. So, ayun. So, kung gusto niyo na magpa-tutor, kahit sa first sem lang, ayun, just message lawyer tutor. Noong time ko per hour ang rate, I advise na angkunin yung tutor, yung same school kung saan kayo naka-enroll. Para magkaroon na rin kayo ng intel about your professors, kung mga professors na passable, darts, mahilig mambagsak, case-based ba yung prof, hypo, or kaya makudal, verbatim. So, mas magkaka-idea kayo. Kasi, naging professors na din nila yun. So, ayun. Okay, for the books. So, na sinabi ko sa inyo kanina, important ang kudal. So, ito siya. Then, wait lang. Tama. So, mag first year, first sem nyo, guys. So, ang mga subjects nyo yan, consti law, criminal law, statutory construction, and PFR. So, for PFR, civil code, and for other civil subjects, magagamit nyo to. Yan. And then, for your criminal law, revised penal code. And, of course, for your constitutional law, the 1987 Constitution, the supreme law of the land. Malareko ko sa inyo yung mga books for first year. Actually, kung ano yung recommended ng prof nyo, yun yung bilhin nyo kasi doon na nakapattern yung mga itatanong nila sa inyo. Pati yung mga questions minsan nasa book. Minsan, yun din yung tanong nila. Parang sinicheck lang nila kung binasa nyo ba yung book. Pero kung wala pa kayo sa law school and gusto nyo magbasa lang, for criminal law, definitely Reyes. Yan. Wait lang. Reyes and Amorao. Marereko ko sa inyo. And then, for constitutional, Isagani and Carlo Cruz. Bernas. And for reviewer, Natura. And then, for PFR, Santa Maria. And then, for StatCon, Agpalo. Yun lang. Terminologies. Okay. Mga general rules. Ganon. General rule, hindi kayo nakikipag-communicate directly sa professor kung may concern kayo sa grades yun and everything. Magbasa kayo ng handbook, guys. Bawal yun. I mean, kaya may BIDL. Nung una, nagtataka ko, ano yung BIDL? Bakit may aso sa law school? What BIDL? Tapos, yung pala, sila pala yung secretary ng professor. Sila yung na-appoint na representative ng class na sila yung taga-inform sa professor kung sino yung mga absent. Sila yung nagre-request ng ceasefire pag nag-request yung class. Sila yung nakikipag-usap sa prof. Basta, yun yung contact person ng professor sa buong class, yung BIDL. So, ayun. Boycott. Ito, nangyari na to sa amin and sana hindi nangyari sa inyo. Ewan ko sa ibang school. Pero, sa school namin, like, nangyari to sa isang major subject namin. 4 units ba yun or 5 units? Basta yun. Bali, nakalista na kami, tsaka yung ibang friends ko sa absent list. Tapos, ang nangyari, may mga umabsent na wala sa list. So, parang kasing may certain percentage lang na pwedeng mag-absent sa class. Pag na-reach nyo yun, boycott na yun. So, meaning, magkakaroon kayo ng failing grade. So, dahil sa boycott, na-boycott kami that day, naka-receive kami ng 265 guys sa receipt grades namin. As in, yung receipt and quizzes namin, equivalent din siya ng, pantay lang siya ng midterms and finals. So, 50-50. So, isipin nyo yun. Talagang, that's so, oh my goodness. As in, talagang lahat kami napareact. Kasi sinong gusto magkaroon ng ganun ka, ang hirap bawiin ng 65 guys ha. Pero thank God na ipasa ko naman yung subject na yun. So, ayun, kaya after nun, trauma na ako sa boycott. As in, ayun, ceasefire, yan, magwala ng bala, yung mga students, nagre-request na sila sa BIDL na baka pwedeng mag-request kay attorney na ceasefire today, walang class, or kaya asynchronous, or kaya walang receipt, ganyan. So, ceasefire. So, Socratic method na parang series of questions yan, na talagang nine-defend mo yung answer mo. Parang, tapos may mga hypo, ganon. And then, guys, sa examination, kaya talagang mahirap ang law school. Kasi hindi siya multiple choice. Essay-based tayo. So, kadalasan, ginagamit ALAC method. So, ALAC method, answer, legal basis, application, conclusion yun na. So, ayun siya. What else? Yun lang. Yun lang yung masishare ko sa inyo now. Before ending this vlog, I want to share an inspirational quote from the book I'm currently reading. One of my favorite authors, Robin Sharma, The Wealth Money Can't Buy. This is chapter 10. Yan. Ito, yung title niya.
Remember that small steps make giant gains. We inhabit an age when so many of us want our dreams done instantly. Too many of us have forgotten the power of patience, the magic of steadiness, and the wonder of tiny triumphs made daily on the project that most inspire us. Whether a health program or a love ambition, a financial objective, or a spiritual affair. Your days are your life in miniature. And as you craft each day, so you create your life. Consistency truly is the mother of mastery. And the little things you do daily are so much more important than the big things that you might do annually. Don't judge each day by the harvest you reap, but by the seeds you plant. Growth is often invisible, like seeds that are germinating underground that sometime in the future will turn into towering trees. Just stay focused, dedicated, patient, and aware that your tiny daily triumphs will eventually compound into remarkably big victories over the passage of time.
So, ayun guys. So, don't be hard on yourself. Rejoice even in your small victories. If you finish a case, that's great, guys. Just say at least you're trying. I remember one medical doctor who told me during my first year, it's better to do things poorly than to do nothing at all. As long as you keep on trying, you may not see the fruits of your labor as of now, but definitely in the future. Just be patient, just be consistent, and always show up. No matter what, regardless of what you feel, always choose to keep going. So, yun lang, A-listers. So, till our next vlog. Laters!
Thank you for watching, A-listers. Please like, share, and subscribe. Laters!